What is up, guys? It's your boy Mr. Tech Boy. Today I'm going to be talking about the tons and tons and tons and tons of leaks that we got today. Starting from like 1 a.m. all the way up until the afternoon, we've got tons of different iPhone, iPad, Mac leaks from many different categories, many different types of leaks. There's no simple way I can describe this. So without further ado, let's get into this massive video. So basically, Intel CEO said that Apple is a lifestyle company because he must be very salty that Apple has moved away from Intel chips and is moving towards, their own chips, and Apple's M1 is now outperforming Intel chips, and he's not happy about that. And he even admits this because he says we need to make better chips than Apple, so he admits that Apple is making better chips. And then Tim Cook, he must have been very offended when he called Apple a lifestyle company, so he decided to drop tons and tons of leaks that show exactly what Apple is going to be doing with the future of the Mac. When I woke up this morning and I saw the leaks that we're getting for the next MacBook Pro, I genuinely did not believe anything that we were hearing. Mark Gurman and Quo's reports differ slightly, but I'll explain what their reports were. Quo's report was that Apple is going to have a flat design similar to the iPhone 12 and the iPad Pro, where there's not going to be a curve at the bottom of the MacBook Pro. It's just going to be a completely flat design, which I actually wanted them to do, and I'm a big fan of that. Apple is also apparently removing the touch bar. The touch bar is something that you really love or you hate it. Some people desperately want the touch bar because it adds so much more capability, and some people hate the touch bar with a passion, and they hate it so much, and they want it to be gone. They want to never see it again. And I actually did a poll on Twitter, and it got like 50 votes, and it was pretty split down the middle. It was leaning more towards no at one point. I don't know what it is now that I'm recording the video, but there's a lot of people who really love the touch bar, a lot of people that hate the touch bar. He says that it's totally going away. And I guess pros would be happy about this, but some people would not be happy about this. So I'm not 100% sure if they're going to do this. He also says they're going to bring back tons of I/O. He says they're going to go back to the days where we had tons of ports. So in 2015, tons and tons of ports, USB, HDMI, etc. And then in 2016, you're just going to have to use Thunderbolt 3. That's it. That's the only port besides the headphone jack. But he's suggesting that they're going to add more ports. What could these ports be? I'm thinking Apple doesn't go super crazy, like start giving us USB and HDMI, because those can be replaced with USB-C. I'm thinking we get an SD card slot, and maybe one USB port, maybe. I highly doubt it's going to be anything more than an SD card slot, but it would be pretty cool if they gave us something more than that. Now that's what Ko is saying. He also says we're going to be getting mini LED displays, which is really nice. That's going to mean we're going to get really high contrast on the displays, true blacks, and the display is just overall going to be really amazing. He also confirmed it's going to be 14-inch and 16-inch. What Mark Gurman is saying is, he said the design is going to be slightly different. So what Quo is saying is they're going to have this brand new flat design, remove the curve. Gurman says, the design it's gonna be ever so slightly different. Quo says they're for sure removing the touch bar. Gurman says they're considering removing the touch bar. Quo says that they're gonna add all these different ports, and Gurman says they might add a few more ports, and he says they might remove the touch bar, and all these they're considering, they might just a little bit. So there's a very big difference between the two reports. Even though they are both confirming Apple is working on the same thing, Gurman is more leaning towards, for a lot of this is just prototypes, this is just stuff Apple is considering, it's not guaranteed, while Quo is leaning towards this is 100% happening, this is guaranteed. Oh, I forgot to mention the most important thing. Both of them are saying that Magsafe is coming back, so we're going to be getting a third version of Magsafe, in addition to Thunderbolt 4. So you're going to be able to choose if you want to use Magsafe, which, if you don't know, was the magnetic charging method for MacBooks that we had ages ago, back from 2015 and a long time before that, where if you trip on the cable, instead of yanking your laptop off the table and breaking the cable, it'll just magnetically detach and saving your laptop, that they removed in 2016. Both of them are saying that it's not really quoted. It sounded like they were definitely doing it, and so did Gurman. That's the one thing I think he's 100% sure that is definitely happening. So that's really cool. That means you're going to be able to have not 3 ports for data and 1 for charging, but all 4 ports are going to be for data and just 1 for charging if you want to. If not, you can still charge with the Thunderbolt 4 ports. Personally, I think I will continue to charge with the Thunderbolt 4 because I think it's just a better method of charging. But yeah, those are very different reports. A lot of the information is being contrasted. Hopefully I showed the concept I created today, showcasing an SD card slot being added and MagSafe. I was kind of creative with the design of the MagSafe charger. It'll probably be bigger in order to supply that much power through a magnet, but I just think it looks cool having the same shape and design as a USB-C port, just being magnetic. But anyway, we have a lot more to cover, so I can't get too detailed into the small little bits. On top of that, we're also hearing information that the Imax screens are not going to get larger with the redesign, but the bezels are getting thinner and the chin is going to be gone. So we're essentially going to have really thin bezels, a very similar design to the iPad Pro, flat sides, flat back, similar design to both the Pro Display Xdr and the iPad Pro, which is amazing. That's something that pretty much everyone wanted for the iMac. It kind of sucks that they're not going to make the displays larger, but they're just going to take the same size screens and shrink the body around them, which I think is perfectly fine. I'm just really happy that they're not going to keep this design that they've kept for like 11 years. If you don't know, the iMac design was introduced over a decade ago, so it definitely needs to go away. The thick 1-inch, 2-inch bezels, the chin is like 3 inches, and the side bezels are 1 inch, so that needs to go away, and we need to see a much more modern looking iMac, in my opinion. And I'm happy that they're doing this. That rumor, I believe it comes from Bloomberg, from Mark Gurman. We also got a report that Apple is working on a cheaper version of the Pro Display Xdr, because if you don't know, the Pro Display Xdr is a professional level display with incredible contrast values that's like $6,000 because it's aimed at professionals, and people wanted Apple to make a more affordable display. Not like affordable, but like not $6,000. So yeah, we could see some type of display that's basically just the same display and body as the iMac, but without the internals. So maybe it's like $700 instead of the full $1,300 for an iMac. I think that would be pretty cool. If you want to have an external display for your MacBook, it sounds perfect to me. Apple is also working on 2 new Mac Pros. I made a concept for this as well. So apparently Apple is going to have 1 Mac Pro powered by still an Intel Xeon, and I'm sure it's going to keep the exact same AMD GPUs, and if not, just update the AMD GPUs. I don't think Apple would be able to manufacture such massive GPUs to replace the CPU and GPU in the Mac Pro. I think Apple could refresh that this year. There's no reason they would have to wait for next year to do this, but they're not only working on a big Mac Pro, but a little Mac Pro. So Mac Pro Mini, that's a horrible name, by the way. Mac Pro Mini. It's a lot of syllables. This one would be powered by Apple Silicon. I'm assuming it would have a really, really nice Apple GPU and Apple CPU. So because of the fact that we're still going to have one more Intel computer in 2022 or 2021, we're still going to have support for Intel computers for a very, very long time. I'm sure the new Intel CEO, he will think very, very highly of this new computer, since he seems to think Apple is a horrible company now that they don't want to use Intel products and Intel chips anymore. But yeah, that's pretty big. That's pretty big news. So this Mac Pro Mini is going to resemble a very old classic Mac. This Mac Pro Mini would resemble the very old Mac, the G4 Cube. A lot of people wanted Apple to bring back the design of the G4 Cube, so the G4 Cube was like this big, so they're gonna make a Mac Pro about this big compared to the current Mac Pro, which is like humongous. So it'll be interesting to see Apple have such a tiny Mac Pro. Hopefully this one is not going to be so expensive. But yeah, there's also even more news. I'm just gonna be sitting here in front of this wall rambling about Apple leaks for a while, but you clicked on the video. I hope you're enjoying this video. We're also getting rumors that the iPhone 12s is not going to have a side-mounted fingerprint scanner. It's actually going to have an in-display fingerprint scanner, which is really nice. I don't know why they can't just do it on the power button. It probably saves some money, and I don't think anybody really cares if it's in display or if it's on the side, but I guess that's cool. He also confirmed that there is going to be a new iPad this year. We did get a rumor a while ago that Apple is going to have a new iPad with an A13 chip, laminated, thinner bezels with a 10.5-inch display, more storage, which sounds like a really good upgrade to the current iPad. But he didn't like specifically say all of that. He just kind of confirmed that the iPad 9 is coming, which is really cool. He also confirmed, I don't know if it was him, but someone today confirmed that we are getting an iPhone 14 Pro. I think that's the 2022 iPhone that is going to have a vapor chamber inside, which would be for cooling. It wouldn't actually be like an external vent, but it would be some type of internal cooling method to keep the 5G antennas cool, since the 5G antennas in the iPhone 12 do get pretty hot. Not the 5G antennas, the 5G modem is what gets very hot. So the vapor chamber would cool down the motherboard and all of the parts, including the 5G modem, which sounds really cool, but I doubt they really know exactly what's going to happen all the way in 2022, or if he meant 2023, then he said iPhone 14, so nobody really knows if this year is going to be iPhone 12s, because if it's iPhone 12s this year, that would be 2023, so it's way too far away to start knowing exactly what's going to happen, and they're probably just looking at prototypes and saying that's exactly what's going to happen. One more thing, Apple is apparently working on a foldable iPhone prototype, so this would compete with Samsung. So Apple is essentially going to make an iPhone foldable that would have a folding glass screen so that you can take your iPhone and unfold it into a tablet, which is the better way of foldables. I'm not a big fan of foldables that fold from a phone into like a smaller item. I hope they don't do that. If they do that, it'll be really stupid because it's completely useless. But yeah, that's all for today's video. Like I said, I was in extreme shock when I heard the new MacBook Pro news. I am very excited for that new MacBook Pro with the 14-inch display and the 16-inch display, bringing back the SD card slot, hopefully the potential removal of this touch bar, the new design, the mini LED screens. It all just sounds way too good to be true, and I have hope that it actually does happen. But without further ado, let's end today's video. If you liked the concepts in this video, or you liked my new background, which I didn't even mention, I changed my background. I'm eventually going to put some foam pads on the wall so that you don't really see the filthy wall behind me. But yeah, that's all for today's video. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I hope this video was really fun to watch because it was a lot of fun to make, the concepts and preparing for it. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Goodbye.